The rain hammered down like God's own judgment, turning the cracked sidewalk of my Seattle neighborhood into a river of regret. I stood there, fists clenched around the soaked envelope from Mom, words like disgrace and choose Jesus or us, bleeding ink onto my trembling hands. In that moment, as thunder cracked the sky open, I whispered to the empty street, "Fine, then. I'm done pretending," and hurled the letter into the gutter, watching it drown like the last shred of the boy they wanted me to be. I'd always been the odd one out in our tight-knit Baptist family. The kid who preferred sketching wildflowers over tackling footballs, who lingered too long in the church choir's alto section because the melodies felt like secrets only I could hear. By 18, the whispers turned to shouts. "Isaiah, you're acting strange." Dad would grumble over Sunday pot roast, his eyes narrowing like I was a puzzle he couldn't force to fit. High school was a gauntlet of locker room taunts, fairy, sissy, and crushes I buried deeper than grandma's ashes. I came out at prom, a desperate bid for air, only to watch my date bolt and the whole gym erupt in laughter that echoed for years. College in the drizzle-soaked halls of the University of Washington was supposed to be freedom, but freedom tasted like solitude when your roommate moved out after one too many accidental glances, and your art professors praised your sensitive portraits while steering clear of anything personal. That's how I ended up at 22, sketching strangers in Pioneer Square coffee shops, my portfolio a fortress of half-finished dreams. Rent was bleeding me dry in a shoebox apartment above a taqueria that smelled eternally of cumin and regret. I'd ghosted my family after that letter. 2 months of radio silence, my phone a graveyard of unanswered texts. Friends, the few I'd scraped together fizzled when I couldn't fake the straight guy banter at dive bars. I was a ghost in my own life, fading into the fog that rolled off Puget Sound each morning. Then came Ryan. It was a muggy July afternoon, the kind where Seattle pretends it's summer, and I was hauling my easel through California Anderson Park, dodging joggers and dog walkers like they were landmines. My latest piece, a brooding self-portrait titled Unseen, had just been rejected from a local gallery show. "Too raw," the email said. "Lacks universality." As if my pain wasn't universal enough. I tripped over a root, sending canvases flying into a puddle, and that's when he appeared. Broad-shouldered, mid-30s, with a jawline carved from the Cascade Mountains and eyes the color of storm-tossed waves. He was wrestling a squirming 5-year-old onto a picnic blanket. His flannel shirt rolled to elbows that flexed with quiet strength. "Whoa, easy there, buddy," he called, abandoning the kid to scoop up my scattered brushes. His voice was gravelly, laced with that easy Pacific Northwest drawl. Think flannel and folk tunes on the radio. Up close, he smelled like pine soap and fresh-cut grass, and there was a toddler-sized bandage peeking from his knee, like he just patched up some playground battlefield. "You okay?" That looked like a bad wipeout. I mumbled something incoherent, heat flooding my cheeks as I snatched my portrait from the mud. The boy's face in the painting stared back accusingly. My face, really, all sharp cheekbones and haunted eyes that screamed different. Ryan glanced at it, not flinching, just tilting his head like he was studying a trail map. "Damn, that's got soul. What's it called?" "Unseen," I said, voice barely above the distant hum of traffic on Broadway. He nodded, slow and deliberate, handing me the last brush. "Fitz, I'm Ryan, by the way. This tornado here's my son, Eli. Say hi, kiddo." Eli, all curls and gap-toothed grin, waved a sticky fist clutching a half-eaten PB&J. "Hi, want to see my truck? It flies." I forced a smile, the first real one in weeks, and before I knew it, I was on their blanket, sketching Eli's truck midair while Ryan unpacked a cooler of iced tea and turkey sandwiches. He didn't pry, didn't flinch at my stuttered explanations of art school dropout life. Instead, he talked about his world. A contractor rebuilding after wildfires up north, widowed 2 years back when cancer stole his wife faster than anyone could pray it away. Eli was his anchor, he said, the reason he got up before dawn to hammer nails and braid tiny ponytails. We met like that for weeks, accidental at first, then deliberate. Ryan would text. I'd slipped him my number after Eli adopted one of my sketches as a treasure map, suggesting park picnics or walks along the waterfront. He'd listen as I unloaded the baggage. The family letters piling up like unpaid bills. The exes who'd ghosted after one too many, "you're too emotional" jabs. They don't see you, Isaiah, he'd say, his hand brushing mine as we tossed pebbles into the sound. But that's their loss. You're a goddamn force. Those sketches? They're windows into something real. It wasn't pity. Ryan had his own scars. The in-laws who'd cut him off for not moving on fast enough. The late-night doubts when Eli asked for mommy. But he built things, houses, treehouses, trust, with the same steady hands. He dragged me to his job sites, handing me a hammer to frame walls, teaching me how a crooked joist could topple everything if you didn't face it head-on. Confidence ain't born, Isaiah. It's nailed in, board by board. Eli called me Zay, and on rainy Sundays we'd pile into Ryan's beat-up Ford F-150 for drives to Olympic National Park, where I'd sketch ferns unfurling like secrets, and Ryan would hum old Springsteen tunes, his baritone wrapping around us like fog. The romance crept in sideways, like Seattle's sun through overcast skies. It started with a shared thermos of coffee on a foggy dawn hike, our shoulders bumping as Eli toddled ahead. Then a brush of knuckles while passing a water bottle, lingering just long enough to spark. One evening, after tucking Eli in at Ryan's modest bungalow in Capitol Hill, walls lined with wife's photos fading into family portraits we'd added, Ryan turned to me in the kitchen, flour dusted from Eli's pizza night attempt. Isaiah, he said, voice low, I haven't felt this alive since before. With you, it's like breathing fresh air after years underwater. My heart jackhammered. I'd loved men in shadows, quick fumbles in dorm rooms that left me emptier, but Ryan was sunlight. I kissed him first, tentative, tasting salt and sweetness, his hands framing my face like I was the masterpiece. It was fire and home, his lips mapping the doubts I'd carried like anchors. We fell into it slow, respectful of Eli's sleeping breaths down the hall, whispered confessions over midnight tea, tangled walks where hands intertwined without apology. He saw my different, the sway in my step, the way I teared up at acoustic sets, and called it beautiful. You're not broken, Zay. You're you. And that's enough. But confidence is a fragile build, and betrayal waits like dry rot. It hit during harvest season, when Ryan's sister, Mara, blew into town from Spokane. Sharp-tongued, Bible-thumping, the family enforcer who'd raised him after their folks split. She adored Eli but eyed me like I was the termite in the foundation. We'd hosted a barbecue in Ryan's backyard, string lights twinkling against the October chill, burgers sizzling on the grill. Eli chased fireflies. I sketched the scene, capturing Ryan's laugh lines in charcoal. Mara cornered me by the fence, her voice a hiss under the crickets. I know what you are, Isaiah, whispering in my brother's ear, turning him soft when he needs to be strong for that boy. Ryan straight as they come, widower, not some. Experiment. Leave before you ruin them. Her words landed like a gut punch, echoing every rejection I'd swallowed. Was I ruining him? Eli's giggles from the yard twisted the knife. Innocent. Oblivious. I slipped away early, claiming a headache, and spent the night pacing my apartment, phone dark. Ryan texted, everything okay? Mara's just protective. But doubt festered. The next day, I found the note I'd left half-finished. A love letter disguised as a sketch of us three by the sound, and tore it to shreds. Better to bail than be the villain. The climax crashed 2 nights later, a storm worthy of the Olympics. I'd avoided Ryan's calls, holing up with takeout pho and bad rom-coms, until Eli's tiny voice pierced the voicemail. Zay, Daddy's sad. Come fix. Guilt propelled me to his door at midnight, rain lashing like accusations. Ryan yanked it open, eyes thunderous, flannel clinging wet from the downpour. What the hell, Isaiah? Mara's poison, you know that. She flew back this morning, spouting her crap, and now you're gone? After everything. Words tumbled out, jagged as splintered wood. The fear I'd always been too much, too different. The terror of dragging him under. Your family hates me, Ryan. Eli deserves normal picnics without the whispers. I'm the rejection letter that never stops coming. He grabbed my shoulders, pulling me inside, the door slamming like finality. Water pooled at our feet as he paced the living room. Eli's toys scattered like battlefield debris. Normal? Bullshit. Normal's what killed my wife. Pretending the pain away until it ate her alive. I won't do that with you. With us. His voice cracked, raw as exposed beams. Mara's wrong. You're not turning me soft. You're making me whole. Eli asks for you every night. God, Isaiah, I love you. The real you. Scares the hell out of me. But there it is. The room spun. Love, not the fleeting crushes, but the kind that rebuilds after fires. I sank to the couch, sobs racking me as he knelt, gathering the pieces. I betrayed you by believing her, I whispered. By believing me. No, he said, fierce, cupping my face. You faced it. That's the build. We held there, rain drumming the roof like applause, until dawn crept in, painting the walls gold. Eli patted down later, climbing between us with his truck, oblivious to the wreckage we'd mended. Months blurred into a new blueprint. Ryan and I co-parented Eli through preschool finger paints and scraped knees. My sketches selling at last in a queer-owned gallery downtown. Portraits of us, unapologetic and alive. Mara sent a terse apology card, then silence. My family trickled back with cautious emails, one aunt admitting, "We were scared, kiddo, but fear's no excuse." It wasn't fairy tale forgiveness, but it was human, flawed, incremental. I still wake sometimes to phantom rejections, the old boards creaking underfoot. But Ryan's hand finds mine in the dark, steady as rebar, and Eli's snores from the next room remind me. Different isn't lesser. It's the grain that makes the wood strong. In this rainy corner of America, where evergreens claw toward light and the sound whispers second chances, I've learned to build not just art, but a life. Unseen no more.